Well, let's jump right into my new favorite segment on the show, which I didn't tell you guys about yet, but we're going to call it um, Double A Games with Derek. And we're going to kick things off with Atomic Heart this week. This has always been, of course, a running joke within our podcast and within our chat that most of you listeners and viewers, of course, don't see, but you hear us talk about it. We talk about swimming in sevens. If a game, maybe didn't have the budget or the support behind it that maybe a massive game would have, and it's kind of in that double A tier that people have always talked about how that tier has disappeared. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like every year there's double A games, plenty of them, but whatever. But
Probably
Derek,
more.
it's usually
I would say more.
I would say there's more too. Yeah. They just don't have like a known licensed IP, which they used to back in the day.
I think that's what it was, right?
And now it's not really a movie tie-in; it's new IP. You got Greedfall, and you got lots of different games that are new IPs that are kind of filling that empty void that was left by these licensed games. But anyway, Derek's usually the one who's like, I'm going to give these games a shot, and usually he's the one who actually finds let me find the good stuff and draw it out of these games, even though they're not perfect. I still enjoy them. And so Atomic Heart came out this past week I think we all expected the reviews to be kind of mid, and they were kind of like upper mid, if we're being honest. It's in the sevens for the most part. So it fits that swimming in sevens theme. But I played about an hour and a half of this. I think Jeff played some. Dan, you might have played a little bit too of Atomic Heart.
Hour and a half-ish, yeah.
Okay, so about the same amount I did. And then I think Derek's played the most. He's doing it so we don't have to, is what he's telling us. So
pretty much.
You're so brave.
I think I'm like 5 or 6 hours in.
Yeah, so tell me about Atomic Heart. What do you think so far? What are the pros and the cons?
So I'm not even exaggerating to even try to be comical at all. But in my 5-6 hours, I have probably told the game 5 or 6 hours worth of time in it. You're stupid. This game, you are so dumb. That's all I do. I just talk to him you're so dumb. This is the
Derek's
dumbest
talking
game.
to video games.
Yeah, I do. And I'm like, why am I playing this? This is dumb. I'm going to quit. And then I just keep
Give me an
playing
example
the
of
game.
something that was dumb, because I think there's a lot of parts of it that are kind of
Everything
amateur.
about the game is dumb. The character is a teenage brat.
Yeah,
the glove is fine. The glove is not for instance, I didn't have a huge issue with Forspoken. I thought the girl was annoying, but I thought the guy, who is he?
Cuff.
Yeah, Cuff was pretty cool, but he could be a little annoying. This glove to me is not annoying at all. It doesn't overtalk. It only speaks when it's spoken to. Right. In fact, that's what your character tells it. Don't talk unless I address you. And then when it does speak, it just says one line. It doesn't try to crack jokes or anything like that. But the character's over the top. He overreacts to everything. The glove will be like, now you only have 2 more things to do to unlock the door. And he's like, thanks a lot for that. I didn't know, stupid. And I'm like,
everything. It's every
He's
line.
condescending as hell.
So crazy.
So Derek, how I would describe it, because that's the perfect description. How I describe it is it's someone who was in the middle of something, and now you're asking them to help you with a project, and every little step of that project is annoying to them now. So it seems like he's he's just put out by everything. So I didn't pick up on this when the game first started. The opening sequence, I was like, he's a little snarky, but I don't know why people are complaining.
That's exactly how I felt.
When you get into the loop and you actually start getting to upgrades and opening up new sections and learning new ways of combat and all that stuff, I'm thinking this is where the game should start to really open up, and I should start being a little more interested in this main character and his motivations while the game play becomes more interesting. He is insufferable, dude. I cannot handle listening to him.
He hasn't gotten any
puts him
better.
out. Everything puts him off. He's just kind of like, oh, this again. Oh, let me guess, you can't unlock this door either. I'm just like, dude, I'm gonna uninstall this game if you say one more thing to this glove. And so I did, because he said one more thing to the glove.
Love lives matter, right?
So he's really annoying, but that's not really what I'm most annoyed by. I don't think the combat's at all fun. Your character's super slow.
Yep.
Everything he does is slow. And then if you set off any alarms, which are... So here's the thing. You guys, most of you, because you're only an hour and a half in, you've probably gotten to the point where you were kind of in the open world, but you really weren't. You get to that first base area, and then you have to... That's where you do your first real prologue mission, which is that is tedious too, because you eventually get to a place where you have to unlock the main door to actually get in the open world. And that door makes you get 4 cylinders. So you have to fill up 4 cylinders with like some type of liquid. And then you have to put those cylinders in just to unlock this door. And the game, and I remember a review was making fun of this, but I had no context to what they were talking about. The game actually makes fun of the fact that they're making you do this, because he, at one point, the main character is like, so you dumb motherfuckers have to get 4 cylinders every time you want to open this door? That's ridiculous. And the glove's like, yep, that's what we do. And I'm like, oh my
Isn't
God,
that funny?
this is so stupid.
Isn't
This
that
is
funny?
not funny.
Can I just say though, like the opening, I thought the premise, and I still think the premise is really interesting. Not only do I think it,
Yeah.
I thought it looked really good. I thought the
Yep.
setting, despite the real world people getting mad about it, I don't think it glorifies or villainizes anything. It's like watching or playing Wolfenstein and thinking they somehow are glorifying the Nazis. It's like, no,
Sure.
they're not.
I think that was a thing though, actually, when Wolfenstein
Probably.
came out.
I think so too.
Probably
Like
was.
it was like the
Well,
first
that's why I
time
don't listen to that stuff.
portraying Nazis
Um,
in like a video game. So it was
but I-
Probably LA
really
Times. or
like
something
the
that.
setting. I
Yeah.
love this kind of like throwback and yet futuristic with AI and robots setting,
Yeah.
and like Wolfenstein
Yeah.
is something similar. And I think the robot designs look really cool, and they're very freaky. They're kind of like these mannequins that are supposed to be helping you, but they're starting to go a little haywire. Something setting them off.
Yeah.
And even that opening section where they attack you and the ones in there with you asking for help, I thought that whole thing was very compelling, even though it took too
Yeah.
long. That intro was too lengthy.
It was.
Walk
Yeah.
too slow. You do a little too much talking, but I remember still thinking like, I'm interested. Like this is
Yeah.
kind of a BioShock Infinite vibe, and I'm kind of feeling
But-
this.
But Tim,
I
it
mean,
being
I
a
get-
Bioshock clone is a bad thing.
I guess,
It's-
yeah, right.
It's a
Totally.
bad thing if it's
Totally a
Bioshock.
bad thing. Yeah. No, I
But
was looking
here's the
forward to it. I was
thing,
like, ooh, I
it's
can't wait for my
not-
powers and my guns. And I finally got a couple things, and I was like, this isn't all that fun. Like even my
No,
first power.
BioShock's more arcadey and more action, and it's
Yeah.
way more intelligent. Like
Mhm.
the main characters, the
sure,
story,
yeah.
the depth of the story, all that's just way.
Yeah,
that's
all better.
AAA. This is a game developer and publisher that's selling you a AA game, but advertising it as AAA. Like
Right.
I'm not saying like I'm gonna go say that they false advertise and I'm gonna whine and complain about that.
And
But
sue them.
they're clearly trying to say this is a top of the line first person shooter, open world RPG mechanics, blah blah blah. With how slow it is and how bad the gameplay is, in my opinion, this doesn't make me feel like I'm playing BioShock. It makes me feel like I'm playing an old school Fallout game. And there's a lot of looting
Ouch.
and there's a lot of exploring. So I'm like, I really feel like I'm playing Fallout. I don't feel like I'm playing BioShock.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Now, the other thing is, and this was part of my ranting, and yes, I was actually saying this out loud to the game. I was like, well, at least Fallout actually has a VAT system that's fun. You guys just suck. And all you do is throw these acrobatic robots at you. So this is the part where I really complain a lot. You get overwhelmed by bots. Like
Yeah.
you're just constantly getting knocked down. And I know they have this dodge mechanic, and it's really dumb.
It doesn't work all the time.
It doesn't work very well, and
Yeah.
it's only really good for one-on-one. Like if you
Yeah.
actually see the bot coming at you and you see him like rearing up, then you dodge and it works.
When you fight that first laser bot one-on-one, the dodge
Yeah.
worked well, and I was like, oh, this feels kind of cool. If they can make the
Yes,
combat feel like
just
this.
wait till you have 4 flying above you while one's healing the camera that's gonna set off an alarm again, which
Oh,
then
geez.
means it's gonna send more bots. And I'm like, that's where I'm mainly bitching about this game, and I'm like,
Mm.
this is so dumb. You give me 5 bullets and I've got 75 enemies. They just keep
So it
coming and they
focuses.
keep
Does it focus
coming.
more on melee? Like, does there not like kind of evolve? With
They
a bit more
definitely in the
shooting?
beginning want you to focus on melee. Now, here's the thing, you can, and this is where it's a little bit like Prey. When you go after you get raped by the refrigerator,
By the way, that
actually-
scene is so stupid.
I
Like,
hate
come
that
on,
so
guys. Like, come
much.
on.
Okay,
Come
that
on.
was
we got to
really
pause
stupid.
right there because you brought it up. There's the upgrade machine, which looks like an old school Coke machine or refrigerator or something. and it grabs you with these weird metal tentacles, and the whole
Hold on,
time.
hold on, real quick. The hallway scene right before that was actually kind of interesting, right? There was like this super creepy vibe all of a sudden. I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Like, what's going on? But then goes into what you're
with
saying.
the people kind of suspended in midair, and
Yeah,
the guy
yeah,
getting
yeah.
dragged
That was
down
cool.
the hallway, and
Yeah.
But then this old retro refrigerator Coke machine thing that wants to bring you to bed and do things to you, and then like it's very
It's
odd.
supposed
Like,
to be comedic, but again, I
it's
think
not
it misses
funny,
the
man.
mark.
I actually was like, I think I made the noise. I'm playing alone. I think I made this noise. Ugh. Like as it's happening, I was like, this is uncomfortable. It was very
Yeah.
uncomfortable. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
'Cause it
can
wasn't funny.
upgrade.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't funny to me.
It wasn't
And
a funny approach to that type of humor
Uh-uh.
at all.
No. So then when that becomes unlocked, you can then use her to like upgrade your character, upgrade your glove, upgrade your guns, and you can create new guns. So this is where it's like Prey. Well,
Yeah.
you can also create your ammunition. So I have like gone in there and I've made a ton of shotgun ammunition just because when I get caught up in that loop of setting off an alarm, and I know people might be listening like, well, don't set off an alarm. You're not understanding. It's really hard to spot some of these because you're out in this open, shiny world, and they're off like in the distance, like high up, and it's really hard to see them. And they're close to each other. So you will kill one thinking, okay, I got that camera, I'm good. And there might be another one to the left of you, and boom, you've set off an
And the
alarm.
stealth detection is really unforgiving, by the way. Like if they spot you, like that's
Yeah,
it.
you're
Like there's
done.
not like a little meter that slowly fills up. It's like,
Yeah.
huh? What's that over there? Like, no,
To kind of
it's they-
indicate to you that you kind of like you need to step
Yeah.
back a second.
just-
Like,
Yeah, you
Spotted
mean like
and
every
that's it.
other game action?
Every
Yes.
other game.
has
Yes.
stealth aspect, yeah.
So there's just, to me, it's a game. If I had to summarize it, since I've been talking about it for a while, and obviously people get the gist. I don't like it, but I do like it. So don't ask me to explain that because I am going to keep playing it. But like my biggest gripe is it's got a bunch of systems that you've seen in other games that did it really well, and this game does it beyond average to bad. And then the main gripe for a lot of negative parts of reviews, like from mainstream, was that the pacing was terrible.
Yeah.
It absolutely is terrible, and I'm not just talking about the intro. Like unlocking that door and getting 4 cylinders. You're not just walking into another room and picking up a cylinder and then walking in and putting it in. You're having to solve puzzles in each one. It took like 2 hours to open this damn
God,
door.
dude.
Now
That's
I'm doing like
ridiculous.
this urgent mission here, and to open the main door
Yeah.
takes like an hour and a half, 2 hours to solve
My
all these
word.
puzzles. And one of them, here's the worst part. One of them is you get up, you travel through that like whatever crap, the see-through stuff that has like all the
Oh
memories.
yeah. It's like the goop or whatever.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
travel up top, and you're up top, and then you click a button, and this like little rail cart comes around. Which, why did somebody create this? I don't know. You get on the cart, and it's slowly. So if you think your character's slow, this rail cart is the slowest fucking thing ever. And what you have to do, you have to ride it the entire way around in a circle, because you have to hit with lightning these, and you have to wait until you're over it. It'll tell you Y, hit Y. I'm playing on Xbox, or I'm playing on PC, but I'm using an Xbox controller. So I hit Y, and it electrocutes it, and that will get the pods or whatever to start moving faster to fill up your cylinder with the liquid that you need. But you have to do it for all 4. So you're slowly going around. Well, after you trigger one, a bunch of flying bots all around you start flying to you. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll just shoot at them with my I have like an electric pistol that doesn't have ammo. It just has like a charge. Well, it's not very powerful, and it's not very accurate. And so if you miss, you start to get swarmed. Well, one of them hit me, and I'm like, no big deal. He's hitting me. And I even said this. I'm not making this up for the podcast. I said before, I was like, if one of these fuckers knocks me off, and I have to do this again. And sure enough, it happened twice. The dude runs into you, and that's what he's trying to do. He runs into you just to try to knock you off. I'm like, this is so dumb. Because now I've fallen down. I have to take 5 hours to walk through the goo again. Walk to the goo, go through the goo, get up top, trigger the slow cart to come all the way back around, get back on the cart and go all the way back around to trigger these things so I can fill up this cylinder, pick it up, and then put it. And that was the first cylinder. So I had to do 3 after that. So I was
Oh my
just like,
God.
this is so dumb.
But I'm gonna keep playing
it. Yes, and I'm.
Well, this has
So
been a
that's the
double A
thing.
download with Derek, and
Yeah, who is really the idiot here? Is it the game or is it Derek who's like, I hate this game, but I'm gonna
Why
keep
not
playing
both?
it.
Why not
Well,
both?
it's on
It's
Game
definitely
Pass,
both.
and so I don't like. For
Yeah.
me, it's an easy like. It was an easy uninstall. Once I got to like the 4th maybe or 5th save point, and I was just like, that's it. Like I'm good. I have no
There's
interest
too
in
many games
continuing.
for anybody aside from me who's choosing to do this so I can bitch and whine on this podcast. There's too many games for any of you guys to be wasting your time.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Well, again, you're very brave, and we thank you.
I'm very
Yeah.
brave and stunning as well.
It's very
Yes.
it's a very selfless act to play this game for us.
It really is.
It really is.
Also, one of the
Maybe we'll call
positives-
this section "Hurts So Good" with Derek.
The compliments for this game is the boss fight. So if you guys watched any of the
Oh.
reviews, almost every review is like the boss fights are great. I got to the first one, which is basically like fighting a motorized like circular hedgehog who just goes
Yes.
absolutely nuts. That's
I've
the
seen
other thing I
gameplay.
don't
The vision
feel
that
like
looks
this.
cool. I saw the video of that. That was cool.
I didn't think the boss fight was that impressive. I
But it
won't
looks
say
good.
it's terrible, but it was absolutely obnoxious as well because I didn't know I was getting into it, and so I had to use all my health, and I didn't have all my bullets stocked up, so it actually became harder than it should have been. But
That's what she said.
I wasn't that impressed by it. I thought
She
it
also
was
said that. She
okay.
also said that. Yep.
Yeah, well, several times. Well, they don't actually say that. Women.
That
are
joke
scared
is
to say
still better than any of the humor I've heard in that game. So
I know.
I
know.
will allow it.
You
I
know,
don't-
it is, it is really funny. Like what Derek painting the picture. He's 5-6 hours in, so he knows more than all
Yeah.
of us
Yeah.
how annoying that character is. But even just me having experienced the same amount that Dan and Tim have of an hour and a half of the game, even that alone is like enough for me to go, oh, I'm really not interested in
Yeah.
pursuing
I
this
can't listen to
main
this guy.
character's arc. Because as soon as, even when other characters or your glove educate you on certain things you're capable of, as soon as you're told, he's immediately like, why didn't you tell me this before? Immediately.
Yeah,
He's
good
so
to know.
mad.
Good to know now, Charles. Or
Yeah.
whatever. Stuff like that.
Charles.
Like, all right,
Yeah,
I
that's
can't.
the other thing is so in the part where was opening the door, I think it was towards the end. You discover somebody died that you needed to be alive or whatever, so you let down the man that assigned you to this mission, who's like your
Yeah.
father figure, right? And so your character, again, context here is he's been bitching, he's been an asshole the whole time. All he does is he's a negative Nancy. Now he's trying to get me to care about his feelings because he starts telling me how
Hilarious.
he's so upset that this guy is dead and blah blah blah. And so the glove tries to make him feel better, and he's like, "It's okay," blah blah blah.
Oh my
and
God,
then-
I can do things to you.
And then this
my
character, it's like, I got a hole here. You can
There's like tentacles and stuff.
I can
Yeah, those little.
smart, yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow, this guy got really
and this
lewd.
guy is like, no, you don't understand. He's like, I mean, it's all like a soap opera. He's like,
Yeah.
you don't understand. He's like a father figure. I let him down. And I'm like, dude, you're letting me down talking. Don't talk anymore. I do not care about your feelings. I felt like I was dating this guy. I was like, I don't care about
Oh,
your
yeah,
feelings.
yeah.
I don't care about anything you're
Yeah.
going through. Don't talk anymore. Please, just stop.
It's really
So-
it's one thing for like I get it when like the lead character from Forspoken, I understood where she was coming from because she had to be scrappy her whole life and whatnot.
Mm.
Yeah.
With this guy, it felt like he was a soldier being given orders, and the whole time he's just bitching, and I really didn't have any background on why he was being so angsty. So obviously you were
If you're a
immediately annoyed.
soldier, you
Yeah.
should not be so angsty.
Yeah,
What's
I'm
crazy
saying
is like
there's not
if your main
negative
character
soldier,
just
but-
did like Kratos style grunts in response, like I probably would like him. I like this.
Oh
dude.
yeah, me too. Yeah.
yeah. But
Less is
Now
more,
I get
honestly.
the whole silent protagonist, or you have
Yeah.
a protagonist that is like a Kratos. Like a lot of people get annoyed. They're like, I hate all these characters are all the same. Like Geralt, even in The Witcher, he's very like he talks, but he's very no nonsense. He doesn't talk a lot. He doesn't
same with like
express his
Cloud from
feelings.
Final Fantasy VII. He's very kind of grunty and keeps to himself. He doesn't have a
Right.
lot to say a lot of the time. And
Well,
Yeah.
and there's a whole thing with that too. There's actually a reason for all of that.
but I mean I find that makes
That's
him
a positive.
Yeah,
even
yeah,
though
yeah,
people try to
makes him
complain that
mysterious,
that's a
but-
trope,
Yeah.
like a bad trope, but it's not a bad trope.
Really, the main character just needs therapy, like just on some level.
yeah.
That's really all it is.
And that's
And
all
then-
the
and then
glove's
that would-
trying to do. The
Maybe there's
glove's
a mission of that at the
listening
end.
to him. The glove's trying to
Oh, man.
love on him. The glove has no reason
I mean,
to love this guy.
the thing
and he's
is, if
still
it was
loving him.
if it was like this for like maybe the first like hour or two or something, it's like okay, but like even still tone it down a bit, right? But like he has like an edge to him that would be okay. And then as him and this glove are like learning each other, you know, like, and then if he starts
Softens a bit,
evolving, you know,
yeah.
he starts progressing and like kind of like, oh, and maybe like he explains, like you said, like some emotional stuff about his past or dad or something, and like grows, then it's like, then you can connect with the character. But it sounds like he's just a douchebag for hours and hours and
sounds like.
hours.
From the minute he pulls up on that
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
slow boat ride in the beginning, like
I'm
it's
telling
like, oh, this
you,
guy hates his life. Like
This is
Wow.
a publisher issue, in my opinion. So if this was being created by these developers, they're new, by the way. So
Yes.
this is their first like real attempt at making a game, and they've been trying to work on this for like 5 years. If they had like a publisher that was, I know people knock them and stuff, but if EA was involved, they would go in and play test this game, and be like, no, not
No.
releasing it in this state.
Exactly.
Let us get you help, because you have great ideas, but your end result is not good.
Yeah, but Focus Interactive doesn't do that. They publish whatever, man. Like they
yeah, that's true. That's true. They
so
don't care. Well, yeah, and I think to add to what you said about great ideas, I think the world that they constructed is very interesting and
Oh, the open
it's
world.
gorgeous to look at.
Once
like
you get out in the open world,
It really
that
is
whole
impressive.
Fallout vibe that
Yeah,
I said, where you start going into houses and you just hold down RB and you start sucking in all the
I
stuff.
do like
and,
magnetic
me
Yeah.
too. Me too.
gathering.
and you're just looting and lurking and looking and all this stuff. I was like, okay, that's when that was the one positive thing that I was like, all right, I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep playing. I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep playing. So that's why I am playing. I want to see if it will become like a Fallout experience for me, because I'm kind of itching for that, where
Yeah.
I will start to get used to the systems. I'll get better at the game. I'll get used to some of this stuff. If not, I will move on. It's not like I've never done that before. I do like to stick with my games, but this is not a game like Hogwarts. I will beat that game. It's quality. It will get beat. This game, I don't feel that where I'm like, I must finish it. I'm just playing it to see if I would want to finish it. If it goes on too long, I won't.
Yeah, I have a feeling based on the pacing, it's a surprisingly and unpleasantly long game.
unpleasantly long.
I think if you
Yeah.
just mainline it, it's still like an 18-hour game, which is very long. I mean, it's not long for what they're trying to do,
For a
but I'm
first-time
saying
developer and a first-person shooter, I would say that's long. Yeah.
yes. But
Well,
I think what they're trying to do, they bit off way too
Again,
much.
I've talked about- Go ahead, Dan.
No, I was just saying, if they're trying to go for that Bioshock, I mean, how long are Bioshock games? They're like a good like
About
10
15. 10,
15,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, but they're interesting and have good characters. Like
Right,
in
that's what I'm
Bioshock
saying.
Infinite had Troy Baker as the main
Yes.
character, and he was great the whole
Yeah, yeah.
time.
And even I don't know if people remember this, but every BioShock game, especially Infinite, was knocked for its gameplay, which is I thought was stupid. I thought
love
they
the
were
gameplay.
super fun.
Yeah.
So this game is a way worse version of BioShock. So if you have a problem with BioShock's combat, you're not gonna like this game at all.
Agreed. I've talked about before how first-person perspective games, unless it's just a pure shooter and done really well, I really don't like melee and first-person games. I just
Me
never,
neither.
No, I
I've
hate
never
it. I
enjoyed
hate
it. That's
I think
one
the
of
last one I
reasons-
enjoyed that had it, but I didn't use it, was Cyberpunk 2077. That was like the
Okay.
last time I played like a
Okay.
first-person shooter.
Yeah, I
Those,
used
like,
the
claw
things,
things.
the
claws.
knives and
Yeah.
stuff
And
that come out of your
hacked-
side or whatever.
Yeah.
Those were cool
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it was hard to miss. But most of the other stuff, no.
Yeah, I mostly did a stealth playthrough the first time I played Cyberpunk though. So
Like like same with like Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, and Human Revolution. Those games, like I did all ranged and hacking and stealth and all that stuff.
Right.
I didn't. So anyway, so it's already a stretch for me to get into a game like this. But as Derek
I get
said
it.
early on, you realize like ammo's going to be scarce. Even though I thought the shotgun felt fine to shoot, like that was satisfying
Yeah.
to like blow stuff up with that shotgun. It was really cool, but there wasn't a lot of ammo. And I had a feeling this was not gonna, unless I played on like, is there an easy mode? I didn't notice there was an easy mode.
I don't recall.
There is. So I started on medium, but when I was getting frustrated by the bots, I was like, if I'm gonna even continue this game, I have to drop it to easy.
Okay.
Okay.
So I assume they do less damage because they can kill you pretty quick as they start swinging.
It's actually a frustratingly difficult game on medium because, again, keep in mind, I'm not bad at first-person shooters. It's really is the combat's just bad. It's just not done well. It doesn't feel good. The aiming's very, very difficult because it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, so like you said, Derek, there's so many other games that do this type of thing really well. It actually makes me want to reinstall BioShock Infinite and replay through that because I like all the BioShocks, but Infinite, I loved that game. I think people are too harsh on that game. That game is amazing. Anyway, there's Atomic Heart, and we'll find out later if Derek is going to continue down that path.
It is a shame because I remember seeing that game the first time, and like when they first presented it, like visually, like it looked phenomenal.
We were all like, "Dude, this looks bonkers. This looks great."
Yeah, just had such a cool style and like premise to it, and
they've been advertising this game for over 5 years because it was actually one of them that was advertised for Nvidia for like their ray tracing.
Oh, really?
And all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it didn't even at launch. It doesn't even have all the stuff that it was advertising for. Nvidia.
Of course. Whoops.
Well, it's a good looking game. It's like pretty to look at.
Very.
Especially that opening sequence. I don't know if all of the game is pretty. I only played,
I think it's that typical where they created a cool looking world, but actual like characters like Granny, whatever her freaking face is, she's not pretty. Your character's not like well designed. Like I'm talking like their facial.
Yeah.
You can see the AA.
Yeah,
like,
that's the AA for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Even the bots, like the mannequin bots, they look stupid.
The Hogwarts PS5 exclusive mission, those mannequins are way more terrifying. Let me just say that.
Okay. All right.